Hello, my name is Mark Willis, and I was a member of the Empowerment Over Diabetes Beta Group with Dr. Dyer and Premier Integrative Health. On that journey, eating a ketogenic diet, using intermittent fasting, I had some amazing health results. Check out my first video where we learned to make mayonnaise, and you can hear some of the amazing things that happened on this journey for me. In talking with Dr. Dyer and his team, I wanted to share some of the recipes that my family uses to make ketogenic more realistic, more of a lifestyle than just a short-term diet. These are recipes that we use to help us eat delicious foods because we want this diet to be full of foods that we want to eat, that we're excited about eating. You know, one of the hardest things to replace on some of the diets I've been on is bread. My family's been gluten-free and dairy-free for about a decade now. And there's been some times when I've just had to give up bread altogether and not be able to have it. As we started the ketogenic diet, you know, we wanted to find something that we could use as a bread in there. And Dr. Dyer and his team shared some recipes with us from Dietdoctor. That's a great website where you can find all kinds of delicious ketogenic recipes. He shared a recipe for a keto roll with us, and I brought it home and tried it, and it has been a game changer. We use these rolls all the time. We toast them and use them with breakfast. We make sandwiches when we're on the go. These rolls are fantastic. You can even put a little monk fruit and cinnamon on there with butter for a little sweet treat, or some type of sweetener that you're able to use. So I wanted to show you today that recipe. Now I'm going to include the link down below in the comments to Dietdoctor's recipe, and I encourage you to try this. I will tell you I've made one modification. I've doubled the recipe. The recipe itself makes 6 rolls. There are 4 adults in my household, all of us on the ketogenic diet. 6 rolls is just asking for a fight because 2 people are going to get an extra roll and 2 people are going to be out of luck. So I double the recipe and make 12 when I make it. It's a fairly simple recipe. It takes about an hour to put together, including the cooking time. So what we're going to start with is a good almond flour. Now this is a blanched almond flour that we use. This is different than almond meal. Almond meal is going to give you a much different consistency and texture. I recommend for this recipe using the blanched almond flour. Also, we put fiber in it. One of the things that helps us to keep the carbs low in these rolls. There are 2 carbs per roll, which is fantastic. One of the ways we're able to do that is by using plant fiber in the recipe. We use psyllium husk. Now you can order this off Amazon, you can get it at Whole Foods, and it's a straight plant fiber that we're going to add that's going to counteract some of the carbohydrates in here so that our net carbs are just 2 carbs per roll. We're going to add some salt. I've got pink Himalayan sea salt here, but you can use whatever salt you have. Table salt, iodized salt, sea salt. We need some baking powder, not baking soda. Don't confuse those two. We want baking powder because the baking powder is going to help the rolls to rise. They're nice and light and fluffy. And then we're going to add some apple cider vinegar to it. I love apple cider vinegar. The last thing we're going to need is eggs, because we're going to use egg whites in this recipe. So let's start. And again, I'll have the recipe down below so you can try this. I've got my mixer sitting here. Oh, the last ingredient I almost forgot. We need hot water. I have boiled some water. We're going to need 2 cups of that here in a little bit. So I've got my container ready. We're going to start with our almond flour. We have 2.5 cups of almond flour. We're going to pour that in. We're going to add our other dry ingredients. I've got 10 tablespoons, because remember, I've doubled the recipe, of psyllium husk. I've got 2 teaspoons of salt and 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Now I'm going to put those all in my mixer, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on low. And I'm just going to let it start to mix those dry ingredients up. I'm going to take my spatula and just slide it down the side here while it's mixing the dry ingredients. I want to mix that baking powder in well. I want the salt to get mixed in with all the almond flour. I want the psyllium husk to be evenly distributed through this recipe. So I'm going to let that mix for a minute. And while it's mixing, we're going to get our eggs ready. Now I've gone ahead and cracked most of my eggs. There are 6 eggs, or there's 5 eggs in here now. There's about to be a 6th one. And all we want are the egg whites. So we're going to add our last egg white here. And as we do that, I dropped my yolk. Let me get it here. Alrighty. As we do that, we're going to separate out the yolk. There we go. Now we've got it. Alright, so I've got the egg whites in here. But I'm not going to throw those egg yolks away. I've got another recipe I'm going to share with you shortly that is a sweet treat that you can have on your ketogenic diet, and it involves egg yolks. So I'm going to hold on to those and put those in the refrigerator. But for right now, I've got my egg whites in here. There's 6 of those. And I've got 4 teaspoons of the apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to add that to the yolks. Now my mix in here is all mixed up. So I'm going to add my egg whites and my apple cider vinegar. Now I'm going to turn it back on low again. And while that's mixing up, I'm going to go ahead and get my hot water ready. My water's already boiled. I'm going to put 2 cups of it in my measuring cup here. All right, now while the egg whites and the apple cider vinegar are mixing in, again, I'm going to push those dry ingredients down under the mixer so they all get mixed up. While the egg whites are in here and the dry ingredients, you want to mix it until it's a kind of a clay, almost a Play-Doh like consistency, to make sure all those dry ingredients are getting picked up in there. We don't want to leave any spots of dry ingredients, because those don't bake well without the wet ingredients. So we're mixing them down in here. And we're going to get it, like I said, to kind of a Play-Doh-like consistency. Let me show you here what that looks like. It's going to get down to a consistency like that. Kind of crumbly. And to that, we're going to add our water. And we're going to turn our mixer back on low again. Now you might have a different type of mixer. Maybe you're using a hand mixer or the type with beaters. That's fine. I would still use it on a low speed. You don't want to over mix this dough, because we're going to want it to rise, and you're going to see when they come out what they look like. But I keep it on low. And again, I'm just using my spatula to get the dry ingredients off the sides and the bottom and make sure everything's getting mixed up. We're going to do this for about a minute in our mixer till all the ingredients are mixed up. All the wet and dry ingredients are now one dough, and it's going to have a doughy consistency, and it is kind of sticky. That psyllium husk makes it very sticky. That's what's holding everything together, that fiber that's in there. I should give you a short warning. I've made these rolls for several of my friends and family, and they like them very much. I always warn them, though, if they're not on a ketogenic diet and maybe aren't used to it, I warn them about the fiber. These rolls have a lot of fiber in them. And I've given them to some friends who've eaten too many rolls the first time they got them. And that can upset your stomach if you're not used to that. So just be aware. That fiber's making everything sticky in here. I'm going to turn off our mixer. Scrape off our hook here. All right. Let me show you what we have here. Dough looks like that. Everything's mixed in. You can see there. I'm going to get my cookie sheet. Now, like I said, this stuff is sticky, so I'm going to use my spatula to get it out of my cookie sheet. And I'm going to put a little oil on my hands. I'm just using some avocado oil. And I'm just going to do this because I'm going to put my hands in it. Let's wash my hands first. That's probably important. Get those nice and clean before I touch food that we're going to be eating. All right, now I'm going to take the avocado oil. I'm just going to pour oh, it's probably about maybe a quarter cup in my hand here, a little less. And I'm just going to rub my hands together and cover them both in that oil. Like I said, that psyllium husk is sticky. I don't want to get it stuck to me. So we're going to work with the dough. And all you're going to do is kind of form it to a bit of a rectangle. Try to make it as even as you can across there, because next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide it. We're going to divide it in half. Now we're going to divide each of those in half again. So you get 4 equal pieces. And from that, we're going to start making our rolls. You're just going to take about a third of that. You're going to roll it in your hands. That's why you have that oil on there. Roll it in your hands and just make a bun out of it, is all you're making. We're going to put 12 of these on here. Be aware the dough will be warm. You've put hot boiling water in here, so sometimes it's nice to give it a second to cool down. It's not too bad right now. We mixed it pretty well, so I'm not finding any real hot spots, but there have been times I've grabbed a hold of the dough and it's been really warm. So I'm just making my buns, and they're not going to be the exact same size. Some are going to be a little bit smaller, some a little bit bigger, but do your best to get them as consistent as you can. When you see that one has got a little bit more in it, maybe spread that out. All right. And these are delicious. Like I said, we use these all the time. These are great on the go. If you're in a hurry, you know, one of the easiest things in the world with food is to run through a drive-thru. Grab a burger and fries, right? Get some of that good fast food and just go. We all know it's not good for us. We know that. We don't have to be told that. But man, sometimes you're just in a hurry, and that's all you have time for. Well, if you make these and you can keep them in the fridge, you can store them in your freezer, get them out when you need them. This is great. When I'm on the go, I can simply grab a roll, grab some meat, make a sandwich, take that with me. Takes just a couple minutes, and it's so much better for me than that fast food that I used to grab. All right, now wash my hands one more time, get that oil off of here. Okay, I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. And I'm going to take these, I'm going to place them on the lowest rack in the oven. I've already set my oven up. As you can see, I've got the low rack in there. I'm going to put that on the low rack, and then we're going to set a timer. Now, the recipe calls for about 50 minutes. I've been experimenting with it. In my oven, it works better at 48. Hey Google, set a timer for 48 minutes.
48 minutes, starting now.
And that 48 minutes is just right in my oven. You'll want to experiment a little bit with your oven, see what works. I've done as little as 45 and as much as 50. At 50, they were a little too done for me. At 45, they were still a little doughy in the middle. So 48 is kind of where I've landed with my oven. But let me show you what the results are. When we're all done, this is what comes out. And these are delicious. You see some of them have grown together a little bit. As they cool, they're real easy to separate. But take a look at these rolls. That is fantastic. It's delicious. It's light and fluffy. Let me just cut it open for us here. And I tell you, hot out of the oven, I'll take those and put a little butter on them. Eat them straight like that. I'll eat them with my breakfast with eggs. Those are just absolutely delicious. I'm going to let them sit there and cool off a little bit more. And that's it. Drop my microphone. Give me just a second here. Make sure everybody can hear me. That's it. That's how easy it is to make those rolls. They're in the oven for 48 minutes. Like I said, when I do them, I usually do a double batch. That puts 12 to 24 rolls in the fridge, and we'll eat off those for a couple days, and then I'll make more. Absolutely a wonderful thing to add to your ketogenic diet. And we saved those egg yolks. I'm going to have another recipe for you in a little bit, where I'm going to show you a sweet treat you can make that you're really going to like on your keto journey. So I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. I hope you'll give these rolls a try. I'm going to put that recipe down below. Click on it. They've got a lot of good variations on that bread recipe at Diet Doctor as well. Ways to make keto naan and even crackers using some of the same ingredients. So check that out. Try these rolls and see what you think. Thanks a lot.